All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're talking about something that can bring a warehouse to its knees: total chaos on the inbound dock. If your receiving area feels more like a traffic jam than a well-oiled machine, then you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break down how you can transform that chaos into a powerhouse of efficiency, starting right now.
So I want you to think about your inbound process like a line of dominoes. When that very first domino, your receiving process, starts to wobble, it doesn't just fall by itself, right? Nope. It kicks off this massive chain reaction that can literally topple your entire operation. The stakes are incredibly high, because if you can't get products in efficiently, you've got nothing to pick, pack, and ship out.
So let's get real for a second. As I run through some of the classic signs of this chaos, just ask yourself, does any of this hit a little too close to home? Does it sound like your Monday morning?
And what's crazy is how one thing just snowballs into the next. You get a log jam of trucks all showing up at once, which, of course, leads to pallets and goods piling up everywhere. And because that stock isn't processed, it's basically invisible to your pickers. An error in receiving doesn't just stay put. Oh no, it spreads like a virus, infecting every single process downstream.
And here it is, laid out plain and simple. This is that domino effect in action. It all kicks off with a simple receiving delay, but that delay, it creates a huge put-away backlog. Now your pickers are scrambling, grabbing the wrong stuff because things aren't where they should be. And where does it all end up? You guessed it, a frustrated, unhappy customer. It's a straight line from a mess at your front door to a problem in your customer's living room.
Okay, so we know what the chaos looks like. We feel it. But just treating the symptoms isn't going to cut it. We have to dig deeper and figure out why. What are the root causes making this happen in the first place? Let's get into it.
Okay, let's meet the usual suspects. You've got no dock scheduling, so it's a free-for-all when trucks arrive. You're still drowning in paper, which is just begging for errors. There's no designated staging area, so pallets just get dumped wherever they fit, blocking everything. And then you have the other stuff. Suppliers sending poorly labeled goods, manual checks that take forever. It's like having a bunch of little cracks in the foundation of your warehouse.
But here is the really good news. For every single one of those problems, there is a direct, tangible solution. This isn't some unsolvable mystery. It's about shifting from just reacting and putting out fires to proactively taking control. So the big question is, where do we even begin? Well, let's start with some quick first aid.
Look, I get it. You can't just wave a magic wand and fix everything overnight. So where do you start? We're going to focus on some quick wins. I'm talking about simple, powerful things you can literally do tomorrow to start feeling some relief and turn this ship around.
Okay, this is it. This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Every manager wrestles with this. You're constantly being pushed to move faster, faster, faster. But you know deep down that rushing just leads to more mistakes. So how do you get that speed without killing your accuracy?
And here's the secret. The answer isn't about convincing your boss to spend a fortune. It's about working smarter, not just harder. I mean, think about it. Simple barcode scanners. They get rid of manual data entry and all its errors instantly. Instead of trying to check every single item on a pallet, what if you just check the high-value stuff first? And here's a huge one. Just talk to your suppliers. Ask them to send products with barcodes already on them. These are small tweaks that have a massive, massive payoff.
And this is exactly why it all matters. Every single minute you can cut from your receiving process is another minute you gain in getting an order out the door. This isn't just about having a tidy dock. It's about making your entire business faster and more responsive. It's about shrinking that gap between when a product arrives and when your customer is happily unboxing it. So those quick wins are fantastic. They're like applying a bandage to stop the bleeding. But if you want to make sure you never have to deal with this chaos again, you've got to build a system that's truly resilient. So now, let's talk about the long-term fixes that create real sustainable change.
So what's the dream scenario here? What's the holy grail of inbound? It's this. A product hits your dock and almost instantly, it's live in your system, ready to be picked for an order. Sounds impossible? It's not. But how do we actually make that a reality? Okay, here's the roadmap to get there. Step 1, the second a pellet comes off the truck, you scan it and it's live in the system. Done. For your super popular, fast-moving items, you use cross-docking. That means it comes in the receiving door and goes right back out the shipping door, sometimes without ever touching a shelf. You also have to train your team to put away the most in-demand items first. And of course, you've got to measure everything to know if you're actually improving. So how do you know if any of this is actually working? You need to become obsessed with one key metric: dock to stock time. It's exactly what it sounds like, the total time it takes from when it truck backs up to your dock to when those goods are on a shelf ready to be picked. What's the goal? 24 hours. If you can hit that number consistently, you're not just good, you're running a world-class operation. Period.
And to get to that world-class level, there are even more powerful tools you can use. You can start getting electronic advanced shipping notices. We call them ASNs. It's basically a digital heads-up from your supplier, telling you exactly what's on the truck before it even leaves their warehouse. You can standardize your packaging with suppliers, and you just keep tracking those numbers. Data is your absolute best friend here.
Wow, okay, we have covered a ton of ground here, right? We've gone from diagnosing the chaos to laying out a blueprint for a rock-solid system. We've seen how a bunch of small, smart changes can help you finally get back in the driver's seat. So let's boil this all down to a super simple, easy-to-remember battle plan.
Really, it all comes down to these 3 simple steps. I want you to make this your new mantra. Schedule, scan, and measure. First, schedule your docks. Control the flow before it turns into a tidal wave. Second, prioritize and scan. Use your brain and some simple tech to be both faster and more accurate. And third, measure to improve. Because as they say, what gets measured gets managed.
You know, we started this whole conversation with that image of the dominoes falling. So as we wrap up, I want you to think about your own warehouse, your own operation. Looking at everything we've talked about, all the causes, all the fixes, what is the very first domino you are going to fix? Because making that one small change, just that one, well, that can be the start of a whole new positive chain reaction.